Zach is back with a Hulu original review. Crawlers is another horribly acted, horribly written Hulu original. You guys know my channel so far. I really love the Into the Dark series to death. Every episode or movie, I don't know what they call it. I think they call it episodes. Every episode has its own thing about it that has to do with a holiday. The holiday this time is St. Patrick's Day, and it's just fantastic. The gist of the story for Crawlers is that there's an alien invasion that basically attacks this town. What they do is they substitute a person for an alien that looks like that person. So that's kind of the gist of it. It's like an alien invasion where they substitute people. You've seen that in other movies, you've seen that in other shows. It's pretty stereotypical when it comes to alien invasion stuff, but it just happens to be on St. Patrick's Day this time, and they kind of act like zombies. That's what the aliens act like. Green goo comes out of their face, their eyes are all messed up looking. It's pretty, yeah. I love how every Into the Dark episode decides to put social commentary in it, even when it's not needed. I actually really like social commentary when it's needed in a show. For example, the show When They See Us needed social commentary. Like that, it's needed for that show, and it's great. It makes you think about life and think about how, other perspectives and things like that. Great, do it when it's needed. But in a episode or movie like this called Crawlers, which is about an alien invasion during St. Patrick's Day with green gluey nasty blood and things like that, we do not need the sexual harassment social commentary in this freaking show. It doesn't make any sense because it has this wacky zany sort of thing towards it, and you're supposed to be like, okay, I'm here to have fun, right? But then they decide to lecture you on how not to drug women and have sex with them without their permission, which is rape. Don't rape women. I get it. But don't put something that's so dark and grim in an episode that's supposed to be wacky and zany. It's so contrasting. It's horrible. The issue that I have with the social commentary is that it's not needed, and it feels kind of like virtue signaling to me. The reason I think it feels like virtue signaling is that everybody knows, I know it, you know it, society knows it, do not roofie women and have sex with them without their permission. No one who does that is going to be coming over here, watching Hulu, and being like, oh, I'm so sorry, women, I didn't know I shouldn't roofie you. But then I watched Hulu's Crawlers, and fucking I had a revelation. No one's going to do that. It doesn't make any sense at all. So the point of throwing all the sexual harassment stuff and things like that is so people that already agree with that message can all go like this and all golf clap together on the message. And yeah, you can do that in a show, but when it comes to a show or episode like Crawlers, where it's about zombies and things like that, you don't really need that message. I'm just saying. Like, personally speaking, when someone's going to put good social commentary on something, they usually will do it in a way where the person of the opposite side of the perspective, right, won't notice it. So you almost have them agreeing with you without actually knowing it. A good example is actually X-Men. So if somebody who's a racist, right, listens to the comic book or reads the comic book or watches the show or anything like that, and they go, man, why are all these superheroes being, discriminated against because they have powers when they're not doing anything wrong? That's kind of illogical, right? Well, if that person is an actual racist, they'll put those two things together and they go, oh, they can't do anything about it, and that's why I'm upset for the X-Men or whatever. And that's the same thing as kind of like racism. It's just in a different context, so that people start agreeing with you and they can have their own revelations later, but they don't know about it right now. But in this case, the message is so in your face. For example, the three women in the show, right? They've all had bad experiences with guys. The other thing is that all the guys in the show are just except for like one, are all these like deadbeat, low-life, roofing, sexual, they're just awful people. Like you would never be in a room with one of them ever. It's just awful. You have to before you go into this bar, you have to cover your drink with a napkin because you're afraid of getting roofied by these people. Like that's all the men in this episode. So I get it, Hulu. I get it, Into the Dark. You're really putting it on the nose. Like, make sure not to be roofied by men. I get it. but everybody agrees with that, so I don't know what you're doing. The movie has awful writing and dialogue from the get-go, and it doesn't need to have good dialogue or that great of writing because it's kind of a zombie alien invasion sort of thing, so they could have just had fun with it, but they kind of fucked that up with the social commentary. And then the other thing that really bugs me about this specific episode is that there's a narrator in the episode. And boy, the narrator is actually one of the three girls. There's the drug dealer chick, the chick that is hammered the entire time, and then like the good friend that's trying to help her friend out for everything. That's kind of the three stereotypical main characters. Well, the narrator is the drug dealer that has all these conspiracy theories, and she tries to be really funny in the episode. All the jokes and things fall flat on their face. The other thing is too is that whenever there's actually a good moment in the show, for example, like an action scene or a monster's about to eat somebody, the narrator will actually pause the show, explain to you what's going on, or throw a little joke or pun out or whatever, and then go ahead and proceed for the action scene to happen. I don't need that. Please do not stop and pause the action scene and the cool things that are going on to go ahead and give me a narrative breakdown. I don't need that. Please don't do that. And the problem is, too, is that if it just happened in the beginning, like when they're narrating, you know, some of the backstories of the characters just so that they can kind of go out and they don't have to explain too much stuff and they can do all that cool action stuff and kill these zombie alien things, great. I'm okay with that. But the narrator just doesn't stop. She continues throughout the entire episode and pauses on every scene that doesn't, like, just not necessary. Action scene, she pauses. Background characters, she'll just pause the episode and explain things. The main characters, every character that pops up, she's just like, pause. They throw up, like, a big title of that person's name, which you don't give a shit about, and then explain the whole backstory. And you're just like, yo, can you just let me watch the show, please? What it feels like is, you know, have you ever had, like, a friend, like, you've had, like, a party, and you're playing Super Smash Brothers with a bunch of friends or something like that. I don't know if you've ever had couch co-op days and things like that. Well, it feels like there's that one asshole friend that doesn't know how to play the game, and they just kind of click buttons, and they keep clicking the pause button. And you just want to play the game, but they won't let you because they keep clicking the pause button. And you're just like, but can I just stop it? Like, you almost want to rip the controller out of their hands. That's what it feels like in this show, but the problem is you can't actually rip the control out of that person's hands. So that is another irritating part about this show. It's just that there's just irritating narrator that just narrates everything, and that goes against one of my cardinal rules when it comes to shows. It's show, don't tell. Show me what that person is and what they do. Don't tell me everything. And they just go against that rule 100% here. They just, let me just explain to you that. Exposition. It's annoying. It's completely irritating. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and just give it my verdict. I'm just going to go ahead. I was thinking about giving it like a D- just to be nice because the acting's okay. But when I really think about it, I'm giving it that rating because I'm comparing it to other Into the Dark episodes. If I'm comparing it to other Into the Dark episodes, I would give it a D-. But if I'm just comparing it to the vast other things that you could watch when it comes to zombies or alien invasion movies, you know, even B movies that are not that great, I have to give this an F. It's awful. I could barely, it took me forever to get through this movie. I had to go get a drink every 5 seconds because I was just so bored. And then the other person kept pausing the damn thing to explain to me characters I don't give a shit about, that I could go back to the kitchen and make myself a sandwich and come back before the show even starts because she still has the thing paused. So it's just all around bad. It annoyed me the entire time. The acting was okay. I think that's probably the best thing I could say about it. The acting was alright. Great job, Into the Dark. You got the acting correct this time. But other than that, everything else was just shit. So I'm gonna give it an F. I don't care about the acting. I'm not gonna compare it to other Into the Dark things. I'm gonna try to make my next reviews for Into the Dark shows and movies. You know, I have to have them hold up on their own. I'm not gonna compare it to the other stuff, to the other shitty episodes and things like that. It's getting F. I'm done with it. I don't like it. Phew! I'm glad I got that off my chest. Anyways, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and do all of that YouTube business. I watch these shows so you guys don't have to watch them. I put myself through the ringer and the grinder just so you guys can, enjoy other things that are not this. And I can go ahead and tell you when there is a good episode. For example, like Culture Shock, that episode. That was a pretty good episode. And I'll tell you guys when there is a good episode and what I think about it. But other than that, I'm gonna make sure that you guys know about all the bad stuff and that you don't need to watch. So there you go. Click the little bell if you want notifications because I'm gonna be producing more content soon. And thank you guys so much for watching, and see ya!